everybody, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. My name is Gemma. I am an advanced occultist and I want to break down some things today that I've come across and I find a bit strange because the communities, the light workers communities, I want to break this down. I want to push an understanding of, truth rather than a dichotomy that's been merged together that's not necessarily correct, okay? And now I'm going to go into the history a little bit of stuff. So, here goes. Firstly, I want to say that the spiritual communities are not portraying a full truth, okay? Now, we can sort of get lost in sort of old doctrines still, because what I've noticed is that people are talking about a church, Christ, and then going into scriptures, and which I understand if you want to break it down and understand it as an observational perspective, but not as trying to explain the mysteries of life. I think it's a narrative again. Okay, so I've noticed with certain, channels on YouTube that they are pushing, like they must think this is okay, but it's actually not. It's actually pushing the same narrative as it was before, which is the Christ consciousness. Okay, and I don't really, because what you've got an old paradigm, okay, of Christ, okay, that is being pushed, still being pushed through spiritual concepts. So it's almost like it's almost like these spiritual teachers are in their own dichotomies of understandings. They're still trapped in understanding aspects of their own DNA, probably past lives and stuff. So you've got Christ consciousness still being pushed through as a narrative, okay? So we have to understand that the narrative is... Right, so that's one of the things that I want to say, okay? There's an emergence still taking place within understanding that, as I said in my past video, a Christ consciousness aspect isn't necessarily what you think it is, right? And it's not an emergence with... It's an emergence with the old doctrines, okay? So it's almost like you can... I'm watching spiritual readers, spiritualists saying things like the Christ consciousness and then rejecting it, but then talking about it. So it's almost like accepting it and then rejecting it. And it's almost like they're playing out their own dichotomies. And they're teaching people this. And people are listening. Because it still triggers their own past memories of understanding aspects of, fear. Because what do religions promote? What did they do? How did they take over? Through fear paradigms, okay? And that is true, okay? So I just want to put that out there. It is a fear paradigm. So when spiritualists like, open your heart, go to love, you're a light worker. It's not, and that's a false narrative because now they're enforcing an aspect of a doctrine, and then they're starting to pull away from it again. So it's almost like they're interweaving, again, aspects of Christ consciousness, which let's understand the Baphomet, like I said before, it is an emergence of that as well, okay? So we have to really understand what we are observing when we watch people. When we open our eyes or stand back, is this another sort of, is it ushering aspects of fear from my sacral chakra? Do I feel a sense of fear when he talks about Jesus? Okay, and then it's almost like going, okay, it is an aspect of fear. These are the old DNA, within our DNA, our codes, that they've pushed on us as a narrative to fear. So that is how they dominated in the first place, right? So that's the first one I want to say. The second one I want to talk about is light workers, okay? Light workers, right. if you are from source, a 9D being, okay, then you are of the light. Okay? You have a light inside of you that shines and it is beautiful, yes. You are a 9D being. You are from source, okay? And source is an aspect of everybody. Okay? So when people say, you know, a light being, or a light inside of you, okay, because anyone can, you can have false lights, okay? I've watched people do meditations where they're like, this is one thing I want to put, to give an example, is that they're like, oh, all your pain and suffering, right? So they create a ball of light, right? I know energy, that's all they did. Created a ball of light, and then they put inside of that light all their pain and suffering, okay? And then they take it up, and then they hold it in the sky, okay? For someone to take, okay? This has happened, okay? And so what did they do, okay? So they created an aspect of a light, okay? And inside it was bad stuff, right? And that's what happens. That's what people can do in meditations, and that's what they did, okay? Give it to the Pisces, give it to the Pisces, okay? So I know someone who did this, right? This is an aspect of understanding that you can make anything look light, but inside it's garbage, okay? It's garbage, all right? So this is how you can understand that things can be masked in a light concept, okay? That it actually isn't, like an Elohim, for example, okay? So let's just take that one, right? And then what I want to say is, is that if you are of the source, okay, you're just light, okay? And that's you. You're beautiful. That's your light. And you shine. And that's fine, okay? You don't have to do anything. You're just here to experience. So, as a light worker, all you need to know is that you are of the light. And that how to get home. Okay, so this is going up, home. Okay, not going to 5D spaces. It's ultimately coming all the way down from those 5D spaces into body, and then when you die, you go home, which is straight up, okay? A concept of the Tori, more like this, okay? So you can go up through the epicenter, okay? Because Earth is an epicenter, and this is the plate. This is the main place, okay? You can understand aspects of like other worlds, okay? That's practice, okay? This is Earth, okay? This is the epicenter, and then you get the dimensions, okay? And as you go up to the dimensions, that's source at the top, okay? So it's all set. So it's love, 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 all the way to the top, so you'll be able to find your way home. Okay, so this is understanding aspect of if you are of the light, then that is what you really need to know. Enjoy your life, okay? Observe, okay? Be mindful of the traps, the Jesus traps, okay? So now I want to go into the church. I want to go into the church and talk about what is the church, okay? It's beautiful, isn't it? Has anyone seen a church? Well, did we build them in this lifetime? Is that what we did, is it? I don't think so, Smile. He's seen them. He's seen the cathedrals. Absolutely beautiful, okay? Did we build them? Because last time I checked, the society that we live in, okay, is very divisional. How could we have built that? They didn't build the churches, okay? Christianity, okay, didn't build the churches. There was castles, okay, like this. So, who did that? Who built them? Because it wasn't the church, remember? So if we can go back into history a little bit, we can understand that the pagans were predominantly, you know, before the Christians, okay? So we had, in the UK anyway, we were pagans, okay? So as an understanding of this place, there's been missing information. So if we can talk about how Alexander the Great conquered, okay, they were already there, the castles, and they got destroyed. That's why they're all bust up, okay? So we've got the churches. Now, these were the monarchs, okay? It was almost like that's where the queen sat on her throne, okay? Her home was the castle, and she went and sat on the throne in the church for the people. Okay, now this is now going back to an area time of land once forgotten, okay? And this is true because there was a place called Tartar, okay? Now, this is a place where, you know, there was Tesla's inventions, okay? This was a technological advanced society, and there were giants, okay? There were people that were taller than other people, okay, and welcomed them in, okay? So obviously, in the end, they all came together as an empire, okay? This is owls, dragons, the Moors, okay? Maybe more, but they were the three main ones, okay? Dragons, owls, Moors, okay? They all came together, and it was an empire. And so we had Tesla's inventions. We were, you know, a technological advanced society, as I said, okay? So who do you think built those? Okay? Have you seen the Russians? Have you seen their empire? You've seen those beautiful buildings that they have. So you think that this wasn't built in that era, okay? Because that was predominantly where it was. Where the Ukraine and Russia, Ukrainians and Russians, okay? So it's in that area as well. It's funny, isn't it? Because there's a war going on right now, right? This is understanding aspects of the civilization way before, okay? Before church, before the domination of whatever that thing is in there, okay? So we have to understand that we have a lost information as well, okay? So the information that's been given to us in our history books isn't necessarily true, because how can you, who built them? Everyone goes to see a church. Everyone goes to see these monarchs, right? Everyone goes to see them, okay? And then do you never question like how they were built? They did not build them, okay? You gotta remember and realise that there was a lot of things in our society that it was destroyed, and then the church state took over. The church was already there, and it was for the queens and kings, okay? And you'll notice what churches were built after, and then what churches are literally of the monarch. You can tell the difference. It's so obvious, okay? So you'll get the ones in villages. You can tell that was built, okay? But then you can look at other churches, other cathedrals, and you can see that there is an epicenter. Okay? So there is many, okay? And it's all over the world. And this is how we can understand how, as an aspect of Tartaria, Tesla's information, Tesla's technology was used. And it looks to me like it got in the wrong hands, because it was free for everybody. Okay, now, the only thing that's in the history books is the barbarians that I can go to, that I studied it in criminology. It was the barbarians. So there was no talk about the Tartarians. It was just the barbarians. But also you'll see that there's whole cities that have been buried under dirt. Okay, so this is another thing. This is a cataclysm, but it wasn't a natural cataclysm. Have you seen the state of it? It's not true. That was a structured, engineered process, okay? And I think that they used Tesla's technology. I'm just putting it out there. So let's go back because we now have to understand that the indoctrination of the religions have played a narrative, okay? It's like the Gazette. It's like now we have a local Gazette. It's the media, okay? And it's an aspect of images of crime and social control, okay? So it's an aspect of understanding that now we have the media, now we have news channels, now we have this, now we have that. Well, it's the same concept of having a Bible back in the day. And it's to control the narrative. Now, let's understand in the 40s, 1940s, I'm just going to put this out there, that you see in Islam, in the Muslim communities, women were walking around wearing bikinis, okay, in the 1940s. It wasn't long ago, okay? So it's not like it's always been that way, okay? It's not like it was always that way, okay? It's almost like they push down on narratives and then they work it through society. So if you see women gaining traction in the world, oh, now we have to sort of like push them down a little bit and then do something else. Like for example, female genital mutilation. Okay? Female genital mutilation, that happens in the Eastern countries. Why? Well, it's sort of like clipping a bird's wings, isn't it? It's clipping a bird's wings. That's technically what it's like. Because it's almost like you're taking away something that was her God-given right as an aspect of her own divinity. Not God as in one man in the sky or in the heavens or sitting up there at the top. Okay? It's about understanding an aspect of source. As just, it is like a universe, 9D, and you're all part of it if you're from source. If you're light, if you have a light inside of you, then that means that you are. Okay, so lastly, what I want to say is that some people don't have lights inside of them. Okay, they don't have a bright white light. They don't have that. Okay, they don't. So what does that mean? That means that they are not of the light, okay? So it don't matter what you are. It don't matter what colour skin you have, okay? Don't matter what colour skin you have, okay? It's a distraction. And if you want to talk about another aspect, which I'll go into another time, but ultimately today I wanted to really break this down because I've watched people now understanding certain things that are taking place, like how, like white hats, okay, they are posing as they're doing something good in this world when they're not. They are not. It's a lie. So there's this one man, I don't know his name, I can't remember him, but he was trying to say that Russia and Putin is actually trying to help Ukrainians. Okay, so he killed children on that soil. Okay, he killed children on that soil. So you're telling me, this man, right, that he was trying to help, and he's twisting the narrative, and people are listening to him, and he talks absolute garbage, and he gains traction. There's like, he has lots of following on Facebook, and it's really ridiculous because he killed children on top of that soil. Innocent children. And that is enough. People are posing as white hats, and they're not white hats. They're just twisting a narrative, coming off of a stem of a Christ consciousness, which is what? And I've already done this before. Christ, Baphomet. They're the same. And that is the truth. Ultimately, it's off the same stream of narratives. It might not actually be the same entity, but it's the same stream of a narrative. So, Jesus, I don't think people realise, okay? And then you'll get people that talk about the nuns, and then you'll get people talking about the daughters of heaven, okay? And they say that they're similar, but they are, you know, different because they come from a different, you know, which, okay, I get that. But then don't start talking about Christ consciousness in the same conference like it is the same, because it's not. It is not the same. An aspect of being a part of heaven is a 9D being. If you are light, if you understand it as an aspect of you have a light inside of you, you are from there. The end. Period. Okay, I'm done. If you like my content, like and subscribe, and there'll be more. Take care.